Good evening. Welcome to the Netivot Shalom share. We talk a little bit about something in Parsha Matot. Talk about what is unique about the battle between Amalek and between Midian and the children of Israel. What is unique from other battles? Now, I have a screen share that is not the Netivot Shalom. It's part of the Psukim. I just want to review so you can see them in front of you as we talk about. Then we'll talk about them. So the parsha starts by Dabar Hashem al Moshe Lemor. God spoke to Moses saying, "Nekom nikmas b'nei Yisrael, take vengeance on Meis and Midianim, take vengeance on the Midianite on behalf of the children of Israel. Achar teyasef el amecha, and after that you'll be gathered to your people." I put that up so we could just see the way the words are put there. There's a couple of things in that sentence that we're going to be talking about in the Netivot Shalom. The first is Nekom nikmas b'nei Yisrael, avenge on behalf of b'nei Yisrael against the Midianites. And the second is Asher teyasim el amecha, that you'll be gathered to your people. And then the next one that we'll talk about, and they're all be connected together by the Netivot Shalom, is the next sentence. It says, "By Dabar Moshe Elohim, Moshe spoke to the people, Lemor, saying, Hecholzu me'itchem anoshim l'tzava, take from you people for the army. V'yu al Midian l'seis nikmas Hashem Midian, and they'll be there to avenge the vengeance of God against Midian." Then the next sentence says, "Elef lamata, 1,000 for each tribe. Elef lamata," it's repeating itself, 1,000 for each of the 12 tribes. V'chol matos Yisrael tishlechu latzava, for all of the camps of Bnei Yisrael, you should take these righteous people. Anoshim latzava, anoshim. Okay, now those are the psukim I wanted to go through. So I'm going to go to a different screen share now, and now we're going to put up the Netivot Shalom for tonight. And hopefully you have the Netivot Shalom page on your screen now. So that says Milchamas Midian. You have it there? Yes, okay.
Yes.
All right. So let's see what the Netivot Shalom says. It's repeating the sentence that we just said. Dabar Hashem al Moshe Lemor, Nekom nikmas b'nei Yisrael me'eis hamidianim. God spoke to Moses saying, take vengeance on behalf of Bnei Israel from the Midianites, and so on. And then it says, Vaydaber Moshe Shalom, as we read, Moses spoke to the people, Lemor, Meitchem Anoshim Latzava. Says, choose people for soldiers. V'yu al Midian l'seis tikmas Hashem, and they'll be against Midian to take the vengeance of God against Midian. V'isa b'midrash Rabbah, Rashi, it says in the Midrash, and Rashi brings it down, the Anoshim, where it says, Anoshim, take people, Anoshim Hainu Tzadikim. These refer to Tzadikim. Vadas Milchamas Amalek, and with regard to the fight with Amalek, Yechsev Bachar Lanu, Anoshim, it also uses the same word Anoshim. And it says, Vakavara Tzadikim. The intent is Tzadikim, righteous people. Anoshim Mishalo Kedubaso. So it's talking about here with the fight against Midian to take similar tzadikim to be the soldiers. But and we have to understand, why is it only with these two wars, Milchamas Midian and Milchamas Amalek, the battle of Midian and Amalek, why only with those two we have to get soldiers who are tzaddikim? We could also say, we also see a difference that these two wars of Amalek and Midian, against Midian, they were the order battle was one of tefillah, of prayer. The Milchamas Amalek Kasuv, and the battle of Amalek is written, Moshe Yado, Yisrael. When Moshe Rabbeinu would raise up his hand, then Bnei Yisrael would be successful. Perush Chazal, and the Chazal sages interpret that as meaning, this was an aspect of prayer, of tefillah. Similarly, with this, the battle of Midian, Dorshu Chazal, the sages interpreted Madikasu Elef Lamata, Elef Lamata. I pointed out at the beginning how that language is doubled. He says he should take Elef Lamata, 1,000 from each tribe, each of the 12 tribes, and then 1,000 for each of the 12 tribes. The language is doubled. So what does that mean? Why is it doubled? Stay probably. Why twice? Should we call Shevet B'Shevet Lachu Shtei Alafim? Out of every tribe, you should take 2,000 people. Why 2,000? Elef Echad Shiyatzel Melchama. 1,000 of the 2,000 you take from each tribe will actually go out and do the fighting. And the other 1,000 will be praying, will be davening, will be busy with tefillah. And 12,000 of the children of Israel will be busy with prayer. But we have to understand, why specifically with these two battles of Amalek and Midian, why did you need more prayer than other wars? We can explain it. The other battles, there were a lot of battles that Bnei Israel was engaged in. They were all physical battles. So Nilchamo Neged Gufam Shel Yisrael. People were trying to destroy us physically. Ula Milchamas Amalek, Lo Haisa Milchamas Gufnios, but the war of Amalek wasn't a physical battle, El Milchamas Ruchnios, but was a spiritual battle. Why? Shebishah Yisrael Hitchilu Mitkone Lamamad Haniskav Shel Kabbalas Torah. At the very moment that the Jewish people were coming close to receiving the Torah, Amalek, that's when Amalek came. And who is Amalek? Shu Rosh HaKlipot. He is the head of the negative side. And he wanted to nullify the connection between Bnei Israel and their Father in heaven. And because of that, it says in the pasuk, the Chamas LaHashem b'Amalek midor v'dor, midor dor. The battle with Amalek will be from generation to generation. It's not a physical battle. The main part is the battle of God with Amalek. Similarly, the Midian war, also wasn't a physical war, but it was a spiritual war. Obviously, both of these wars had a physical component, but the main component was the spiritual defeat that was being tried to be inflicted on the children of Israel. So since it was a spiritual thing, it says God will take vengeance on Midian. The main part of the war was the vengeance that God would take on Midian. And this war also with Midian, how it was Bishash Yisrael Amduli Kanas Israel. Just as the war with Amalek was just as we were about to get the Torah, the war with Midian was just as we were about to go into Eretz Yisrael. Finally, the whole purpose of the Exodus from Egypt was for us to go into the land of Israel. Was Haisa connected with Hamas Midian, and then the battle of Midian came against them. This was the strengthening of the evil side, the other side of the depravity of Bilam and Balak, Lakshilam, to make Bnei Israel stumble, will not take it the kesher, and their goal was to sever the connection between the children of Israel and our Father in heaven. Klipas Midian, who also Klipas Amalek. This evil desire was the same evil desire, evil intent that was present with Amalek. Here's an interesting thing. Kedisa says in the Zohar HaKadosh, Shishtei Osios Achronos Shel Bilam Ubalak. The last two letters of the name Bilam, I'm pointing it to right now my part with my marker, Ubalak. You see that? I and Mem, Lamed K. What does that spell? Haim Amalek. The last two letters of each word together, I and Mem, Lamed K, that's Amalek. These two wars were the same intent. The whole intent was to sever the spiritual connection between the children of Israel and heaven, and our Father in heaven. Bitoshiyadu, because they knew it was impossible to defeat Bnei Israel. The only way to defeat Jewish people is to cause them to sever their relationship with God. This is why with these two wars, it was said specifically commanded to choose tzaddikim, righteous people, as the soldiers. Specifically, and they would have the aspect of prayer within them. Because this was a spiritual battle in which both Amalek and Midian were trying to have their power over Bnei Israel by severing the connection with God. The main part of cleaving to God is the aspect of knowledge. Knowledge is a cleaving. It says Adam knew his wife. He had knowledge of his wife, total knowledge. Moran Yesod Avoda, he says, Mavir Inya Midas Hadas. He explains what this aspect of das means, of knowledge. The Chochma Mocha, it means wisdom of the mind, Ubina Liba, and understanding of the heart. Those two things together, wisdom of the mind and understanding of the heart, that constitutes das, knowledge. Das hi amida hakoleles Shtei advarim moach v'alev. And knowledge, das, is the one quality that connects the two things, heart and mind. Uzema farish Chazal, and this is what our sages say. Shama hear her tshuva b'dato. Maybe a person will have feelings of repentance with his das, with his knowledge. Shemadrei gavo b'tshuva hamiti. The highest level of tshuva is kashi b'chinas das, is the aspect of das. Kasher devukim b'moch b'leil Hashem Yisborach. Combination, as I said, the combination of taking both the wisdom of the head and the understanding of the heart to serve God. Bilam ha'yudea das elyon. Bilam was a prophet. He was a non-Jewish prophet who used his powers of prophecy not for good but for evil. But nonetheless, he knew the das elyon, the upper knowledge. He knew when things were going to happen. Das the klipa, Netivot Shalom, das the kedusha. There was it was offsetting. It was balancing the balance of the evil knowledge was balancing the holy knowledge of Moshe Rabbeinu. Vilu hayadea das elyon. He knew the higher knowledge. Shayu das the klipa she connect Moshe Rabbeinu. I just repeated that. It's okay. It was against the holiness of Moshe Rabbeinu. Therefore, Ratzel Hakshilam Ulatamam Davidas Hadas. Bilam wanted to make Bnei Israel stumble in this aspect of Das. Through those things that defile the mind and the heart, together. So therefore, if you're defiling them together, you're ruining the level of das between the heart and the mind. You'll no longer be connected to Hashem. This is what they were trying to do with the idol of Peor and the immoral relations with the daughters of Moab and the Cosby, the princess Cosby Basur. So included in these two things are the aspect of emuna, faith in God, and kedusha, holiness. The pagam, the defect in them would be in the mind and in the heart. Faith in God, as Netivot Shalom has pointed out before, there's an emuna of the mind and an emuna of the heart. The perfection of emuna is not when you just have it only in your mind, an intellectual kind of faith in God, but when you have it planted deeply in your heart. Similarly, just like emuna is in the heart and the mind, so too is holiness in the mind and the heart. The source of the defects is in the mind. And there can still be holiness in the heart, but with the mind, you have gone away from the kedusha. You have pagam there, something that's wrong there. And so what he's saying is that in order to really succeed in severing the Jews' connection with God, you have to affect both Kedusha and Emunah at the same time, those two levels. Because if you're left with one, it always gives you the ability to do tshuva and get the other one back. So he understood, Bilam understood that he had to do them both at the same time. Why they stay in Yanim, Elu, because of these two things, Emunah, Kedusha, Devuki Yisrael Hashem. Through those two things, Bnei Yisrael cleave to Hashem. Mishum Kach, and therefore, Ratzu Bilam Balak Lachshil Mahati Bohem Gamim Yanim Elu. So therefore, Bilam and Balak wanted to make Bnei Yisrael stumble and stumble in these two aspects of holiness and emunah. So they say not so much of his Torah, because that they understood, they thought would cause the complete severance of the connection between the Jew and between God. And they understood, and their battle was to conquer both of these things, not just one of them. But they should do it because they knew Israel Tamim Lagamri. They knew that unless they together were able to cause the Bnei Israel to stumble in the levels of faith in God and holiness, being a holy people, faith of the aspects of Emunah and Kedusha, she could cause something to interfere with both those things together, they would have no way of being victorious over the children of Israel. And he says, for example, if a Jew is strengthened in his Emunah, strong in his Emunah, even if he stumbles in the aspect of holiness, he's able to return through Emunah and be able to correct the defect that he made in Kedusha. If a Jew lives a life of holiness, even if he forgets the clarity of Emunah, he's living a life of Kedusha, he's able to return and reinvigorate Emunaso Shabbat Laha'ir, and his Emunah will come to light him up. Therefore, it's necessary to declare a war against these two things together, Emunah and Kedusha together. Only through this, Yochel Liskaber al Klal Yisrael, would Bilam and Balak be able to overcome the Klal, the people of Israel. Ikar Achidush Batsas Bilam. This was the main Chidush, the main thing which Bilam told Balak. To make the Jewish people stumble, both these things, Emunah and Kedusha, because through this, if they would stumble in Kedusha and Emunah, God forbid, they would be able to destroy Israel. Similar with the fight of Amalek. What else were these two things of Emunah and Kedusha? It says, when Amalek is approaching, it says, Akorcha Baderach, Asher Kor, who met you, translated as who met you by the way. Rashi says, Shu Maloshan Kar Batuma. This is Asher Korcha is the language of coldness and uncleanliness. Pagam Maloshan Karirus. I read that wrong. But Lashon Keri Vatuma. It's Ashikoracha means a language of bad things, immoral things. Gama Lashon Keri is also a language of coldness. Umaruma is Akirus, but when it talks about a coldness of your amun, of your faith in God. This was also the klipa of Amalek, the defect, the bad part of Amalek, the Hakshalish Yisrael, he wanted to cause Bnei Israel to stumble in these two aspects. And opposite this, Kaseh b'Melchamas Amalek, it's written with regard to the fight of Amalek, the battle of Amalek, the Yadiv Amuna Adbo Hashemesh, that his hands were those of faith until the setting of the sun. Shemoshe Rabbeinu Olav Shalom, Tikanas Inyan Hamuna. Moshe Rabbeinu was repairing the aspect of Amuna. While Inyan Kedusha Yitzrichim Yoshua, Shumazri Yosef. So Moshe was repairing the aspect of Amuna, but the Inyan of Kedusha, the aspect of holiness, that had to come through Yoshua. Why? Shehu Mazriya Yosef, because he's a descendant of Yosef Atzadik. Yosef Atzadik was famous for his moral stance. He was able to resist the enticements of his employer's wife, Potiphar's wife. So he's epitomized the midah of Yesod, of total morality. And this was a case where Bilam and Balak were getting the Jews to sin with the daughters of Midian and Moab in an immoral way. So he needed somebody who would have that quality, and that was Yoshua. From Yosef. And therefore Moshe said, choose for us men, tzaddikim. The men of the war should be like Yoshua, and according to his standard. The main part of being successful, winning over Amalek, was the power of Yosef Atzadik. That's what it's written. Yoshua es Amalek, es Amalek Charav. And Yoshua drove out, weakened Amalek and his people through the sword. Marumas al Cherav Komos Nikam Bris. It's hinting at the sword that is a vengeance for the immorality. Came of Melchamas Midian. Similar to Melchamas Midian, he's Gabri Israel al Klipas Midian. Bnei Israel were able to overcome this negative aspect of Midian. They stay in Yanim for these two things. So command Omer Sham, as it says there, Vehema Bochim, Ubetargum Yonasim, and Uziel Perush, Vinum Bechil and Bekorin Kriyishma. After the incident with Pinchas and the incident with the prince and the princess, the prince of the tribe and the princess of Midian, and after Pinchas killed them, then there was a plague and the people were all crying. And Notice it says what they were crying, says they were crying and saying Krishma. So Krishma, who Inyan Amuna. Krishma is the aspect of Amuna, of faith. And the first paragraph of Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, is a Jew's acceptance that God is one, and God is in charge of the world. So that's Krishma is the sign of Amuna. Moshe Chla Yisrael Chizku Atzma Midas Amuna. So Moshe and the general populace strengthened themselves with the midah, with the quality of Amuna. וכנגד הפגם על דבר כוסבי באסור, שהוא עניין הפגם בקדושה, and the defect of the Cosby Basur, the princess who was acting immorally, that's an aspect in the defect of holiness. It's Richim Lepinchas Shehu Mizaro Sheyosef Shepatpat Bitzoro. So it fell to Yosef, who came from, it fell to Pinchas, who came from, was descendant of Yosef, to overcome this evil desire. It was therefore in his power, it was in his power because of the genealogical makeup of the morality that came from Yosef, from his ancestor. And it was in his power to be victorious over the negative aspect of Midian, and to repair the defect of holiness. From this, so we see that both of these wars were really fought through the hands of Yoshua when he was holding up Moshe's hand, and through Pinchas after he killed the evildoers. And alone from them we learn Sheikar Tchilas Hamarachat Nikvot Bechelek Shel Kedusha. We see that the main aspect of the war is has to do with Kedusha, with holiness. If the Jew purifies himself, makes holy his thoughts, Yeshlo Behilo to have clarity of faith. Yeshlo Refoyo B'Amuna, and if unfortunately there's a weakness of Amuna, and this was evident by Amalek, where it said they came from Refidim, and Rashi there translates that as Rafu Yodayim. Their hands were weak, meaning their Amuna was weak. So if you have this weakening of Amuna, Shorish Adavar Begomim B'Inyani Kedusha, you still have so the main part of the thing is the pagam of the Indian Kedusha, of Kedusha. If you still have Kedusha, you'll be able to get back Amuna. If you don't have Kedusha, you won't have Amuna. Because of this, that's what it says further in the sentence. And then afterwards it says, after that you'll go back to your people. What does that mean? And what this concerns is, Moshe was the quality of das. As it said, God knew him face to face. That's the highest level of Devekos in Hashem, cleaving to God. And Moshe brought this quality of Kedusha, of Devekos Hashem, to brought to Bnei Israel, and that would stay with them forever. Therefore, as long as he wasn't able to sever the klipa of Bilam, Shu Hadas, which was das for the wrong purpose, the klipa lo tukna midas hadas. The klipa could not be repaired. Midas hadas from das. Rak lacher b'chamas Midian. Only after this battle with Midian Shabo nishbat leklipas. Sorry. So it's bat leklipas hadas, klipas bilam. So that would nullify the negative side of bilam. Yochel hayakvar lashu lalos lamos hayona. But by nullifying that, you'll be able to still go up to the highest levels. Achar shenishlam kvar inyan hatikun shulamano yor olam. You'll be able to return to the higher levels that you had been at previously, the way to correct and to correct the defect that you have, and then to be able to deal in the world with both Amunah and Kedusha. These wars, there was a strengthening of the negative side, the other side. With these matters, before they were corrected, but Kabbalah Satorah, in other words, the correction for all these things would have been the receiving of the Torah and the going into Eretz Yisrael. And those were the times that both Amalek and Midian wanted to sever the cord between Bnei Israel and God by getting them to violate at the same time the concept of Amunah and holiness. Kabokain similarly says, Ata now, Bakvasa de Mashiach, we're in the times when Mashiach is coming. We're in the period of Mashiach, preceding Mashiach. Lefnei Agula, before the redemption. Ikaris Gabrus Hayetzer, the greatest power of the Yetzer Hora. Yonim Elu, Amunah Kedusha, is to interfere with our ability to have both Amunah and holiness. This is the last test. And against this, Mashiach ben David and Mashiach ben Yosef, you have the redemption which will come through Mashiach ben David, who is the house of Judah, which is the house of Malchus of kingdom, and Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach the son of Yosef, a different person who comes from the tribe of Yosef, the aspect of Amunah. And the difference between the two, it says Mashiach ben Yosef will come before Mashiach ben David, will basically set the stage, announce what's going to happen with the various fights that are going to break out in the world, between the world and Israel, and announce the coming of Mashiach ben David. And he goes on to say that Mashiach ben David, who midas malchus, Mashiach ben David is the quality of kingship, kingdom of David. Through Indian Amunah, that's the aspect of Amunah. Mashiach ben Yosef, who midas Yisod, and Mashiach ben Yosef is genetically what his forefather Yosef had. The quality of Yesod, of morality. Shizeo Inyan HaKadosh, that's the aspect of holiness. And they want to tear apart both of these two things together. Every the aspect of redemption comes through the concept of das, of knowledge. As it says, Go Ami Miblei Das, send your people out without knowledge. And the aspect would be that, God forbid, Bnei Israel would be separated from God. In this time, Shemidas Hadas Hi Devekus. You see that the Midah the quality of das, of knowledge, is really, when you have this das, you have the vekus, the connection to God. It says, Kimala Haaretz Dea Es Hashem. The whole world will be full of the knowledge of God. All the destruction came about because of the sins that separated the cleaving of Bnei Israel to God. Avodah Zorah, idol worship, Gili Arayos, immoral relations, Shvichas Damim, and murder. That was the first base of Mikdash, was destroyed for those things. And also the aspect of hatred, baseless hatred, which caused the destruction of the second base of Mikdash. Because baseless hatred, cuts off a Jew from God. Baseless hatred. Ukamosham Sadikim, and similarly righteous people, Shahavas Yisrael he Segula, Lava Hashem Odav Kabo. Loving your fellow Jew as a Segula will help you to love God and to cleave to Him. V'zeh tefillah al hagula. This is the prayer for the redemption. We're waiting for you. When will you come again and rule in Zion? Sion, the word Sion, Sadi Yud Vav Nun, Gematria Yosef, is the numerical value of Yosef. Should be spelling al Tikkun Hagamar B'midazu Shal Yosef. That they're praying for the complete repair through the quality of Yosef, through morality. Morality defeats immorality. Make yourself great and holy in the midst of your Yerushalayim, your city. Yerushalayim Amidas Malchus. Yerushalayim is the quality of kingship, of royalty. Yonu Emuna, which is the aspect of Emuna, of faith. The redemption is through repairing both of these two things, Emunah and Kedusha. Remember Chazal and our sages say, Nivna Beis Hamikdash b'yomav. Anybody who doesn't rebuild the Beis Hamikdash in his day, Ilu Nechrav b'yomav, is like he destroyed it in his day. Hatafki b'zeh, the purpose from this is L'take Nesenyanim Ha'elu Shel Emunah Kedusha, to repair all these things of faith and holiness. Shatikom b'shtei inyanim elu, the repairing of these two aspects of Emunah and holiness, who bechinas binyan beis hamikdash hakol Yehudi, helps build, is the aspect of building a beis hamikdash for each and every Jew. If you don't repair these two things of Kedusha and Emunah, it's like you destroyed the Beis Hamikdash in your day. Just like we have the aspect of the negative influence all the time that is coming against Bnei Israel. As we just demonstrated with the Amalek before receiving the Torah, and with Midian and Moab before going to Eretz Yisrael. This also applies to every little specific detail of your life. Kasher Yehudi Rotzeli Talos, the Jew wants to raise himself up. Even in the highest levels, to still raise himself further. Yesh az hiskabros chazaka shel sitra achar lachshilo. The power of the sitra achar will come to make him stumble. Specifically the strength of the evil thoughts. They're only in the two aspects of Amunah and Kedusha. Amunah caused by immorality, and Kedusha, holiness. All the time your heart and mind are together. When they're all together and you have this quality of das that we've been talking about, there is no people in the world that will have dominion over this. And therefore, the power of the Sitra Achar becomes stronger. The main part of making defiling it, slow you, they wanted to not have the mind and the heart of the Jew as long as they're together, Yehudim, as long as the mind and the heart of the Jew are together, no foreign country will have any effect on us. No people can be able to conquer us. Therefore, the strengthening of the power of the Sitra Achar, the other side, the negative side, the Ikar, what is the power? L'tamo shelo yu Yehudim, to make them unclean so that they won't be Jews. I think I skipped. Sorry, I skipped the wrong thing. No nation will have the right to, will have the ability to have dominion over the Jewish people, as long as they have their heart and soul together, Amunah and Kedusha together. Knowing that the negative powers become strong, so that the Jew won't have this connection of holiness and Amunah between his heart and his mind. This combination of having both Kedusha and Amunah is the from this will depend on the redemption, both on a national redemption and an individual personal redemption. So the message from this is that you want to stay connected to God, you have to do so by having both Emunah, faith in God, and Kedusha, treating everything around you with holiness and recognizing the holiness of God. Adkan, I'm going to turn off the recording. Thank you for listening.
Beautiful.
Koach Yash, let me get the recording off 1 second.